What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feeling today? What's the word, AD? Thunderbird. Thunderbird changing out from this place. About to leave this place. I'll be in a new place with a new setting and a new background pretty much starting next week. Next tomorrow. I feel good too. I feel good too. What's going on with y'all? How y'all feel? What's up with y'all? What's the word? I feel good. Y'all feel good. I feel rested. I feel rested. I think that that's the word of the day. I feel rested, but I got so much to do. I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna go to SEMA. It's just so inconvenient with everything that's going on. So I was thinking about heading out to Vegas and hitting SEMA for a few days. And I don't know. I don't know. How am I feeling about the Brian McKnight interview? We gotta you on demon time, Mika? Shit. Why is Mika on demon time? Um, I think it's gonna be good. I think it'll give him it'll the way I interview, I let people talk and tell their story. And so I just like to keep people talking. And so I don't have an agenda when I go into interviews. I don't interject with my opinion. I don't do any of that. So it'll be an opportunity for him to tell his story in front of a really large audience instead of people picking and choosing the different parts that they want to communicate. So I'm gonna go shoot that tomorrow. Who gonna be in Atlanta? Who in Atlanta? I don't think he's a disaster. I think he's misunderstood. Who in Atlanta? Ain't nobody in Atlanta. What up, Mika? Terrible People Podcast is an ATL. Sabrina says she 3 hours away. That's too far. I don't want you driving no 3 hours. Let me see something real quick. Rashida says, I know Brian is your friend, but he's horrific. I wouldn't go see Brian McKnight if he was singing. But see, this is the problem, Rashida. This is the problem. You know what the problem is, Rashida? I'm gonna be honest with you. The problem is, especially with women, and this is why I never will depend on a woman ever in my life, is because women are ruled by their emotions and they've already made a decision based off of a narrative that's painted about you instead of hearing it for yourself straight out of the horse's mouth. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is why I'll never, ever, ever, um, I'll never go, like, I'll never wait on anybody to give me my flowers. I know his story, but I'm not going to tell it. I'm going to let him tell it. And then people should be able to give their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that we live in this microwave social media era where you get one side of the story and then you get the media spinning a narrative for views, but you don't actually wait and have a level of patience to hear it from the person and then make your assessment. And so people already like Rashida, and respect to you, Rashida, because I think that you can have your own opinion. They don't even want to hear your story. They don't want to wait. They don't want to give an opportunity for somebody to tell their story. None of that type of stuff. And then they'll go and listen to R. Kelly. If R. Kelly was in town, she would immediately go to the show. But they don't even want to hear nothing from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? People are illogical. And that's why I'll never, ever. No, I do not have a green screen in the background. This is my background. See? People don't want to wait. They don't have no patience. That's why I don't fuck with cancel culture, bro. Like I don't mess with it. And so Brian is good. He good. And I know his story, but he hit me and he was like, yo, what we got going on or whatever, because I talk to him on a regular basis. And then he was like, yo, let's do a podcast. I'm tired of people believing in their own narrative. Let me go ahead and give my own, tell it from out of my mouth. And so instead of people waiting and then getting the whole information, women automatically just jump out the window and that's just the way that it goes. So again, I'm not here to go back and forth hating and disowning your own blood kids is wild under any circumstances. No, it's not, because I disown my own fucking kid if they got out of pocket. If my kid did certain things, don't think for 1 second that I wouldn't cast them aside, because it's rules to the game, and you don't just get to do what the fuck you want to do when you want to do it, especially when you lived a privileged life. But see, again, this is why we need strong fucking men in society. This is why we need strong men in society, because I don't let no woman tell me what to do. You don't get to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Even in the Bible, it's love, the salvation is conditional. Salvation is conditional. It ain't unconditional. Ain't no such thing as unconditional. Jesus, God don't have unconditional love for you. He give you the opportunity to do it yourself, and then you're gonna bust hell wide open. So yes, you can absolutely disown and deal with people. I know, Candy, they're gonna believe anything. They'll believe a vlog. They'll believe a fucking. It's some sassy bitch with a bullnose ring running some vlog over there, and y'all believe that rather than waiting and hearing it out of somebody else's mouth. I don't like that shit, bro. You took your daughter out the trust. I would have did that shit too. Absolutely, 100%. So I don't see things like y'all. That's why y'all kids is gay. That's why everybody crashing out. That's why ain't nobody got no standards. And that's why everybody is looking stupid out here, because y'all know y'all can get away with it, and they just gonna accept your lifestyle. Ain't nobody gotta accept nothing that you do. Fuck out of here with that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I got a whole different perspective. I'm chilling. Oh, yes, I did get a delay on my prostate exam. It was a really bad accident on the freeway, like few miles in front of me. They practically shut down the freeway. I called the doctor's office to try to reschedule. I mean, to tell them I was going to be late. They say if you was going to be late more than 15 minutes, they had to reschedule it. So my prostate exam is scheduled in December. So it's not canceled. It is rescheduled. All right. So nobody touched my ass yesterday, and I'm very thankful for that. But I still got to get the procedure done because we got to make sure that we safe and we got to make sure that we don't get no cancer. You know what I'm saying? So black men, still make sure that y'all get your exams, get everything done, and let's get it taken care of. All right. Oh, I really did just want to get it out the way because I was tired of hearing about it. But we got to do it. We got to do. Oh, Zillow got a Halloween theme on their app. See the Zillow app right there at the bottom? See the Halloween theme on the Zillow right there? Interesting. Interesting. I want to say what up to my dog, Mike That Dude. Thank you for Mike That Dude. I appreciate you for holding me down, my friend. Spencer Campbell says, good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers. He said, Top Ramen saved us many nights. Facts. Give me a little bit of sodium mixed with some flavor and we good. Christopher Williams says, for many blessings to you, AD and the Bag Chasers. Thank you, Chris Williams, for the 50 ball. Jesus, y'all blessing me today. Straight up. I appreciate y'all. Merch idea, Let's Gets to Profit, Diabolical Crazy Work. Thank you, Kiwan. I appreciate you for the Cash App also. Mika says, Demon Time. AD, what time you on? I'm a nice guy. I'm nice guy, Mika. I'm nice guy. All right, we over 1,000 people in here. Let's get started with the show. Let me finish reading some of these super chats. What up to my friends that's in the building? What up, though, AD? Have you heard the Goldfish album by Hit Boy and Alchemist? And we love Brian McKnight. I haven't heard the Goldfish album. Did it just release on midnight tonight? Shout out to my Detroit brethren. Charlie LeBron says, Mika, you like calling married men a more hell no. Charlie, are you gay? Charlie, are you gay? Because that's my Mika. And don't nobody say nothing negative about Mika. That's my Mika. All right. Philip Sadiq said, good morning. When that guy threatens you in the chat and you use AI on his thumbnail to locate him, can you show specifically how you did it in the Patreon? Why y'all want me to show y'all how I do it? I got the Patreon. The next Patreon is gonna be Stock Club. So as soon as I get back from I might do it tomorrow night. As soon as I get back from my interview with Brian McKnight, we're gonna get there. Yo, Anton, what's wrong with gay people? Yo, what's wrong with gay people? I'm Anton, I'm confused. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Wait. Y'all think that just because y'all subscribe to me, that I'm not gonna call out behavior that I don't agree with? I don't agree with the lifestyle. I respect you as a human being. I respect your human rights. And I also am not going to use that against you because I don't agree with a lot of things that a lot of people do. But I don't rock with boy on boy activity. I just don't do it. I'm not changing that. It don't matter how many subscribers I get. It don't matter how famous I get. It don't matter how much money I have, and it don't matter what kind of sponsorships that I'm on. I don't agree with the lifestyle of homosexuality. Now, again, I still respect that people could do whatever it is that they want to do. And I do not agree with the idea that they keep on pushing this narrative in popular culture and that kids should, can change genders and stuff like that. But I've been very clear and I'm very firm on that I respect, like I said, I respect all human beings, but it's certain aspects of people's lifestyle that I don't agree with. And so I don't agree with men in relationships with men. I think it's weird. I think it's demonic. I think that's a spiritual stronghold that people have on them. And it's something that people really need to work on and pray on and really get right with God and get that released out of their life. It's not normal. It's unseemly. And it doesn't, it'll never make sense to me. And I think that is absolutely, positively um, crazy to think that a hole belongs in another man's ass. That's just my opinion. And again, I'm not going to say nothing crazy because I don't look at people as like, I think that people can change. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of stuff that people disagree with me about. You know what I'm saying? With the way that I curse and all of that type of stuff. And that's fair because, you can criticize me and I'm okay with that. And we could respectfully disagree and stuff like that. But I'm not the type of person that's just gonna adjust just because it's the popular thing to do. Um, I don't agree with it. I don't think that it's anything ever makes sense as far as a man putting his penis in another man's butt or that another man should be touching on another man sexually. I'm just not. I'm never. You're never gonna convince me of that. And again, I think that the beautiful thing about America is as long as you're not hurting somebody else, then you can do whatever you want to do in your bedroom. That's not my business. It wouldn't stop me from hiring you. It wouldn't stop me from, what I'm saying, doing business depending on the type of business. We probably wouldn't hang out together because we don't have any similar interests. But I respect people in general that have good character. But as far as lifestyle choices, I don't want to hang. I don't want to be in spaces where men are kissing on men, and that's where I stand on that. So that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you, but that's just where I'm at. I don't agree with it, and the main thing that I disagree with is I hate that they try to push it in popular culture for people to try to choose that lifestyle. So I'm not on that at all. Food vlogger, huge fan. See, and you know what's so beautiful about that? You know what's so beautiful about it is that we can respectfully have dialogue, and it doesn't change the fact that you may like my show or my political commentary, and I'm pretty sure that I would like your food. You know, and I don't think that we all agree on anything. That's where we all lose, in my opinion. I believe that that's where we all lose. I believe we lose when we can't respectfully disagree with people without it turning into something that's more incendiary, without it turning into something that's more anger filled and hateful. Like you could disagree with me and then I could disagree with you and then we can agree on other things and we can have the conversation and then maybe I'll be more open-minded to your ideas and maybe you'll be more open-minded to my ideas. But why can't, and that's the thing that I hate about the black community. It's like, oh, I don't agree with you. I fuck you. I hate you. And it's like, when do we start hating each other just because we don't agree with people? We could joke on each other, but all of this censorship, I hate that shit. I hate censorship. I hate cancel culture. I hate all of that stuff, right? And so again, I may disagree. I don't agree with people that sell drugs in the community and rap about it on songs. I disagree with that 100%, but I still like rap music. You see what I'm saying? I hate I hate when guys put their hands on women. I can't stand a person that put their hands on somebody. At the same time, I don't think that they should go to jail for the rest of their life, and I still think it's a domestic violence issue. It's a lot of things that I disagree with. And I'm sure it's a lot of things that people disagree with me about. But where we've lost in a culture is that we can't disagree without still being respectful and without still having a human respect. You know what I'm saying? Not taking away somebody's humanity but stand 10 toes down and respecting a person's decision to do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting somebody else. Now, when you start to break the law and when you start to hurt other people, that then becomes a problem to me because I still believe we got to obey the rules and the laws of the land. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. For the bag chasers, I'm about to read some of the super chats. For the bag chasers, join the Patreon tomorrow. All right. What up, Aaliyah? Join the Patreon tomorrow. The best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Okay. So I would rather you join on the 1st than on the 31st. I would rather you join on the 1st than the 31st because the best day to join is the beginning of the month. Okay. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. Can y'all see me clearly? Because I know a lot of times if you got light in your background, it doesn't always come through as clear. Shout out to Keith Slorn. I appreciate you. Lex, please, says my most entertaining distraction while on the Stairmaster. Hey, D, what up, though? What's going on, Lex? What's happening, Lex? James Smith says, I don't agree with any type of LGBT business, and that includes carpet munchers, too. P. Shank says, good morning, Anton Daniels. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says, listen to that new Big L album under Nas. All right, I'll check it out. What's the word, big dog? All love. Moving. I got a better view. Man, I wish I can give y'all, I'm going to give y'all a tour on the Darth Anton channel with a new space. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. If I could take y'all on a walk on the live stream right now, I would. But it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. What up, though, Mr. Bibbs? I appreciate you, big dog. It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. So, upgrades. We getting upgrades. I'm gonna show it to y'all on the yeah, iPhone cameras is dope. I love it. You don't have to do any manual adjustments to still get really good quality of the video. So G70P says, blessings, big bro Anton. I hope you're good mentally. I am. I'm good mentally. I'm good. I'm in a good space. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started with the show. So the first thing that I want to talk about is we got to come to Metro Detroit. Now, I want to be very clear. Metro Detroit and Detroit is connected. Mr. AD, you gorgeous. With any background, you enhance the background. What up, sister? I appreciate you. The iPhone camera is incredible. I do. And this is a 16 Pro that I'm streaming on. I got the 17 Pros in here too. Yes, I'm streaming on the iPhone, literally. Want to see my setup? Here, I'll show you my setup. This is my setup. That's my setup. Right there, that's my setup. That's how I'm streaming, right there. That's how I'm streaming. That's why when people say stuff to me like, oh man, I gotta make all of these investments and we gotta get all of this big equipment and we gotta do this and we gotta do that. And I'll be like, nigga, you ain't gotta do that. Nigga, you need a laptop and a phone camera. A laptop and a phone camera, and we cooking. Now, I've had the privilege and the blessing. I've had the privilege and the blessing to be able to build my own studio and invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into my own workspace. But you can walk regular, you can just be regular. Into my own workspace, but you don't need all of that. All you need is an iPhone or Android or whatever it is that you deciding that you want to stream on, and cook and work. Nah, my phone ain't dying. I don't cut it because my phone is dying. I do it because I don't want y'all to see what I got going on in the background. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to see what's happening in the background. Get a little dicey in here. Anyways, y'all ready to get started? Let's get into this whole situation. So again, first of all, I want to say thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with me. I want to start off here in Detroit, Metro Detroit, because the FBI has just announced that it's thwarted a terrorist attack. It's thwarted. Is that how you say it? THWAR or RATED, thwarted a terrorist attack in Metro Detroit. Now, of all places, and I'm going to tell you why this is significant and why we're starting off here. Of all places, they had to do it in Dearborn. They had to do it in Dearborn. Now, everybody know that the FBI is out here on the prowl. They looking for victories. Kash Patel is looking to put some wins under his belt. Everybody know that. Everybody know that the FBI is out here on the prowl. They out there indicting people in the NBA and in gambling rings and shutting down stuff like that. And then they go over to Philadelphia and they shut down what's happening in Philadelphia. They stopping terrorist attacks over in New York. And then they had to come right here in Dearborn and they had to stop a terrorist attack here. Let's get into it.
Our breaking story at noon, the FBI stopping what it calls a potential terrorist attack, arresting several suspects here in Michigan. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Kiara Hay. Now here's a look at one home raided on Horger Street in Dearborn near Fortson High School. Our crews were out there as federal agents collected evidence this morning. Chopper 7 also flying over police activity on Middle Point Street in Dearborn. Feds and police also surrounding that area. FBI Director Kash Patel posting on social media saying multiple people were arrested this morning, and he claims they were plotting a, quote, violent attack over Halloween weekend. Now, he did not say where or exactly when this attack would have taken place, but the Feds sent us a statement from Patel saying the potential act.
Yes, this was in Dearborn, Michigan.
Of terror was stopped before it can unfold thanks to coordination with local partners. The Michigan FBI field office confirms with 7 News Detroit that agents were in Dearborn and Inkster this morning conducting what they're calling, quote, law enforcement activities. Now, we do have live team coverage for you this noon. 7 News Detroit's Ryan Marshall and Tierra Braddock are both live in Dearborn at 2 separate raid locations. But we want to start with Ryan, who's on Horger Street. Ryan, we know you've been there for multiple hours. What can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning. We've been here for quite a while, and the FBI has been outside and inside the home here on Horger Street in Dearborn near Fortson High School. Kash Patel saying a little bit earlier this morning in a social media post on X that the federal agency had thwarted a potential terrorist attack that was supposed to happen over Halloween weekend, an alleged plotting attack. Now, the FBI is here on scene with people wearing JTTF jackets. JTTF, we believe, stands for Joint Terrorism Task Force. They're here along with the Michigan State Police Emergency Support Team. Now, the FBI hadn't officially released any details into when the raid actually happened, but we did talk with a woman who lives next door to the house that was raided. She says this raid started around 6 a.m. earlier this morning. This is what she had to say.
This is Dearborn. Yep, this is Dearborn. This is Dearborn. Let me show you how they are in Dearborn. This is normal. This is normal. Again, when I keep telling people that we have the largest Arab population in the United States of America, this is Dearborn.
She said she just saw the raid. She didn't see anything else.
Does she know what time this raid happened specifically?
ما احنا شايفين بحاجه والله بصدق تعرف.
انت عارفه الساعه كام طيب؟
الساعه قد ايه الاذان؟ الساعه 6.
She's like at 6. It's pretty scary because like we have a lot of relatives around this neighborhood.
انا اللي الغدة احنا ولا درينا بشيء اللي بالغدة بس.
Yeah, she said she didn't notice anything, just the raid and the cars and that's all. Yeah, that's scary part, honestly. Because everything seems normal when we walk around these streets.
Now, let me tell you how idiotic these people are. Okay. Yes, this is Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn, Michigan is literally right a hop, skip, and a jump away from Detroit. I can be in Dearborn in less than 5 to 10 minutes from downtown Detroit, right? So it's literally a suburb, a quote unquote suburb, and it is almost completely taken over by Arab people. They have the mosques, they have all of that stuff, right? Now, let me also say that I'm cool with a few Arabic people. And so Dearborn, Michigan, and I've had this conversation with y'all before, looks like this. But here's my interesting take on this, right? They know that the Trump administration is not playing no games. They know, thank you, Jazz, right? I'm gonna read that super chat shortly. They know that they are under a microscope because when it comes to illegal migrants inside of the country, there's going to be targeted task force that are in different parts depending on who goes where when they come over here from overseas, right? So you decide that you want to plot a terrorist attack here in the Detroit area, and we growing, everything is going good. We're the only one of the only blue cities and areas that is operating at a budget surplus, have adequate staffing with police, is growing, and it's a ton of opportunity, right? So we've been getting good press. There's a lot of people that say, oh my God, I visited the city. We just had the draft that was here. That went incredible. All sports teams are doing well and everything is doing great. And so you, as a person that is a part of the population, that's the biggest Arabic population in the United States of America, knowing that the Trump administration and Cash Patel is watching and paying attention, you decided that you wanted to try and do a terrorist attack in the United States of America, in the Metro Detroit area, with this type of visibility. First of all, the first thing that I want to know is, where are all of the pro-liberal, the pro-illegal immigrant, the pro-anti-Trump, the pro-super, and we should operate without borders? Where are all of these protesters at now? How come they don't have nothing to say? How come they're not commenting? How come they're not on social media? How come they're not making posts now? Where did all of these people go all of a sudden? How come they not nowhere to be found? Where are the protests, and why are they not advocating for the same people that's trying to commit terrorist attacks inside of the United States of America? Where are they at? That's all I want to know. That's the first thing what I want to know is, where are all of the anti-Trump, anti-FBI, pro-illegal migration? Where are all of these people at all of a sudden? Here's my second take on this. With this type of heat and this type of visibility, right? Because when the Trump administration, said that, hey, we send in the National Guard to Memphis, we send in the National Guard over here, we send in the National Guard to DC. You know what black people did? They got out of Dodge, nigga. Said, you know what? We don't want this type of heat, and we don't want this type of visibility. And so the worst thing that we can do is continue to do what we was doing, or to even worse, to continue to do it the wrong way. If I am the Arabic population, especially over in Dearborn, Michigan, I'm pissed right now. If I'm a legal migrant, I'm legal over here, but I don't want this type of heat. Or let's say hypothetically that I'm legal, or I got some relatives, because they all stay in the same neighborhoods, and I got some relatives that's illegal. I would be pissed, because it's like, why are you bringing this type of heat? Why are you bringing this type of smoke? You're bringing visibility when we trying to move around and we trying to make some things shake. We already got a target on our back. We already got this heat. We already know that Immigrations and Customs Enforcement and Homeland Security is running around snatching niggas up that ain't supposed to be here. Why would you bring that level of visibility and that type of heat on you? Usually, when people are committing crime, they try to go incognito, or they try to not be as visible, or they try to do this, or they try to do that. But these people decided that they wanted to bring even more heat and more visibility, and that's the dumbest thing that you could have possibly ever did.
Honestly, because everything seems normal when we walk around these streets. Everything looks normal.
All right, back out here live in Dearborn. Now, the woman that we just talked to says that she's only lived in that home for about 4 months and doesn't know anybody inside of the home next door to her. We're still waiting for any information from the FBI on when this attack that they were talking about was going to go down, how it was going to go down, where it was going to take place, who was involved specifically in the planning of the attack. They haven't really given us much details. FBI has been inside and outside of the home. Of course, we do know that today is Halloween and that a lot of people are going to be out on the streets, a lot of families across this area and across the entire region. One other thing that I wanted to point out is Michigan State Police could come on through. We're hearing from Michigan State here. Okay, you're going to move your vehicle. We're talking to the Michigan State Emergency Response Team here who's trying to move a vehicle. They are securing this area right now with the FBI and the Joint Terrorism Task Force. The Dearborn Police, they were not notified, according to them, of this actual investigation and this operation that was happening in place earlier this morning. They said that they had no prior knowledge of what was going on, even though we have all of these other agencies happening, but certainly a very fluid and very active investigation as we get that information.
Yeah, because they don't want no leaks, because they don't know who working with who, and say they can't trust y'all, so they gotta act like they don't know nothing, and then that's how they gonna fix it.
More information to you. We'll get it to you on air and online. But for now, I'm Ryan Marshall reporting live from Dearborn for 7 News Detroit.
Yeah, and we appreciate all the work you've been doing to gather as much information as possible on this developing story. Now we want to check in with Tierra Braddock, who is on Middle Point Street, also in Dearborn, just about 2 miles away from where Ryan is. So Tierra, what are you seeing where you're at?
Well, Kiera, it's a very similar scene to where Ryan is right now. The FBI is here along with MSP. You can see the MSP vehicle right there. And while it may not seem like a big scene, there are some unmarked police vehicles here and a lot of FBI agents walking in and out of the home. We have been here for about an hour and they have been coming in and out of the house along with the garage, coming out with some stuff and also just securing the area around. Now, we haven't seen them take anyone out of the house. Now, neighbors I spoke with say there was an even bigger police presence in the area earlier this morning. Now, we're still trying to piece together what exactly is going on. And as we've been reporting, the FBI says they thwarted a terrorist attack from happening in Michigan, and they do have some people in custody. Now, neighbors also told me they are very shaken up about all of this. And hear what else they had to say.
Around like 4:30 in the morning, my husband jumped out of bed because he heard a bang sound, and then all of a sudden he heard bang, bang, bang. So he thought it was shotgun, a gun went off. And then so he looked out the window and he saw a bunch of cop lights.
This is very new and scary to me. And at 62, you just want to be.
Ooh, that's a hard 62. Ooh. Oof. That's a hard 62. Boy, a lot of these white people, they aging like milk. That's a rough 62. That's a 62 that you've been trying to figure out some stuff, fight some addictions, trying to figure out life. That's a rough 62 right there. That's every bit of 81. She looked like she could be Biden's wife. Jesus, good God. What do y'all be doing to yourselves? That's all that tanning. All that tanning and meth. All of that tanning and meth, that junk had y'all crashing out. But yeah, if I was the type of person that was trying to do something negative, I probably wouldn't do it right now, simply because, this Trump is just not messing around. You even mention the wrong thing on the wrong frequency on your phone, and you're gonna be crashed out. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turning your notifications. Shout out to the FBI for thwarting that attack. We love that. We absolutely love it. So this is Freestyle Friday. And so we're going to jump around a bit. It was something else that I wanted to talk about before I got over to Trump and the shutdown and then AI and all of that different stuff that's going on. FBI through a terrorist attack. Okay, we addressed all of that. Hold on. We're going to go over to New York, Kamala Harris. We got a lot of stuff that we can dig into today. I wanted to dig into this other story really quickly before I read super chats. It says that a man who reported the rape of his daughter was killed after refusing a bribe. Have y'all heard about that?
And the murder of a Ferguson man who reported the rape of his own daughter. 3 family members stand indicted for the murder of Corey Warren, who was gunned down after refusing a bribe to drop charges in a sexual assault case. Our Megan Kernan is live outside the Ferguson Police Department, where prosecutors announced indictments just hours ago.
Corey Warren's best friend tells me he was the best person on earth and a great father. His family still hasn't come back home since the killing. And these 3 men are now charged, accused of working together to silence that father, murdering him and then murdering their own hitman.
One of the most senseless acts of violence that I've reached and have seen this year.
Ferguson Police Chief Troy Doyle says Corey Warren's killing was calculated, cruel, and personal. On July 8th, officers say Corey Warren was shot through the glass door of his Ferguson home that you can still see 3 months later.
It's real good, Dad. You know, I couldn't ask for a better neighbor.
Investigators say Warren was shot after refusing a $12,000 bribe to stay quiet about charges against Lavore Harmon, accused of raping Warren's daughter.
Wait. Hold on. I'm very much confused right now. So they raped his daughter. Dog over there on the left raped his daughter. They tried to give him $12,000 to shut up. Any man that takes any amount of money, I don't care if you offering $1 million. This is why I don't believe Cassie and them. This is why I don't believe all women. This is why I don't believe the Shannon Sharp accuser. I don't believe any of them. Because as a man, as a woman that went through it, let alone as a man that has a daughter, you could not offer me any amount of money. I don't care if you offered me $1 billion, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people that's out there that'll take it. I'm 100% sure that there's plenty of people out there to take it. But let's say hypothetically you offered $50,000, $100,000, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million. There is no amount of money that you can give me that'll ever bring the innocence of my daughter back. And if you ever did anything, if you laid a hand on a piece of hair that she has, I'm on your ass. I'm on your ass. First, I'm going to try to get you. I'm on your ass, straight up. Nigga, you can't offer me no money for the innocence of my daughter. You raped somebody, you raped his daughter, and then he was supposed to take. Salute to him, first of all, for not taking the money. You literally offered $12,000 to stay silent to a dog, to even have the nerve to approach the father and try to bribe him is crazy to me. To have the nerve to even go after that and do that is crazy to me. Bro, anybody that walked up to me and tried to make that type of offer, they might have it too. Seriously, they might get it too. It ain't nothing for us to talk about. So then you got mad because he wouldn't take your bride because you decided to rape his daughter. And so as a result, you kill him. You kill the father of the daughter that you raped because he wouldn't take your bribe. This is why I say these people are demons. This is why I believe in the death penalty. I know that that's a controversial take, but this is my opinion and this is what I stand for. I believe that there are people on this earth that cannot be rehabilitated, that should not be spending their time inside of a jail cell. I absolutely 100% believe in the death penalty for some people on this earth. And it ain't nothing you can do to tell me differently. I don't believe that we should be spending $70,000 a year taking care of an inmate to make sure that they're not doing something they're not supposed to do. And then often at times when they get to prison, they get special privileges. They get TV, they get iPads, they get to exercise, they get to have boyfriends inside of prison, and then they still be taking other people's innocence that ain't even trying to get in there and be doing it. It's somebody else that is gonna get released, right? They're gonna do their time, they're gonna pay their dues to society, but they can't even do their time peacefully and shut up because you trying to take their ass because you ain't never getting out of jail and you don't see nothing to lose, and so you trying to find you a new boyfriend forcefully. Shit. I mean, if they raped a girl and they in a prison for life, what makes you think that they wouldn't take a boy? How is it any different? If they kill and they take somebody else's life, isn't Ferguson where they had the protests and stuff already? If you already did it to somebody else, what makes you think that you wouldn't do it to somebody? Like, why should we tolerate this? Why should we give them more opportunity to do egregious things? And they be dying of old age. They be in good health. They be fit. They be living to they 93, and they didn't rape so many people in their lifetime. And we just sitting here making sure that they comfortable. Crazy. Crazy. And it looked like the other two is related because they both name Young. Look at this nonsense. Let me read this. 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of armed criminal action, 1 count knowingly burning and exploding, 3 counts of statutory sodomy. Oh, so wait a minute. He didn't just rape her. He did other things to her. And 1 count of statutory rape. Y'all know what statutory rape is. Statutory rape is you did something with an underage girl. So I didn't even know that it was an underage girl. I thought he just raped somebody's daughter, as though that wasn't bad enough. But the chick also just so happened to be underage. Crazy, man.
Prosecutors say Harmon, his uncle Anthony L. Young, and cousin Anthony D. Young coordinated Warren's murder with their associate, Andrew Klaus.
Hold on. Black man, hold this L. Yeah, we gonna talk about it today. Because we do enough accountability, and we hold snow bunnies accountable. We hold snow hares accountable. We hold Arab people accountable. We hold gay people accountable. We hold black women accountable. We hold white men accountable. We hold everybody accountable. Black men, hold this L for a second. Hold on to this L for a second. Hold on to it. Tuck it nice and comfortably inside of your bosom. And you recruited your uncle and your cousin to go and kill a nigga. Y'all some criminal-minded, degenerate, nasty, I want to talk to younger chicks looking ass motherfuckers. You nasty, bro. You a sad, nasty. And these are the type of niggas that get their money up and take a spirit flight over the Dominican Republic talking about passport bros. Nah, nigga, you a demon. You a deviant demon. You a deviant demon. If a dude came to me, family member or not, and said, hey man, we got to go take this nigga out because I raped his daughter that's underage, and he won't take this $12,000 bribe. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. And I'm mad at you for feeling comfortable enough to come to me thinking that I was going to protect you as a demonic, evil, nasty motherfucker. Hey, man, you trying to go kill somebody? Bro, you about to go murder. So I'm feeling that I'm angry that you feel as though I am degenerate enough like you to go and do this evil, demonic thing. Now I got to call the police on you because now I can't be aiding and abetting a criminal. You involved me. You involved me in your evil, demonic, criminal activity. You got to go to jail for that, bro. I'm calling the police immediately. I'm calling the police immediately. If you ever commit a crime, I'm telling you right now, if you commit a crime, don't come to my doorstep. Don't talk to me. I don't want to know. I'm not interested in talking. I don't want to be friends. I'm not trying to understand you at all. Don't come to me with your criminal behavior. Don't ever come to me and say, hey, man, when people say, hey, you know, I've been holding this in, I got a secret, I immediately start getting a little bit tense. I start sweating a little bit like, because, you know, I'm not an attorney and nor am I a doctor. And so there's no attorney-client privilege. There's no doctor privilege. There's no none of that. So I'll be like, hey, hold on, bro. I don't really need to know this. I don't need to know. I don't want to know what you're doing, why you're doing it. I'm not interested. I don't want to kick it. I'm not trying to understand you. Leave me alone and leave me out of it. I don't want to know what you did last summer. Don't say nothing to me. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I'm not interested at all. These dudes is crazy, bro.
Young coordinated Warren's murder with their associate, Andrew Klaus, who later that same day was also shot and killed. All three men now face 2 counts of first-degree murder, armed criminal action, and felonies like statutory rape.
I would have never thought.
And a $12,000 bribe to stay quiet about charges against Lavore Harmon, accused of raping Warren's daughter. Prosecutors say Harmon, his uncle Anthony L. Young, and cousin Anthony D. Young coordinated Warren's murder with their associate, Andrew Klaus, who later that same day was also shot and killed.
These niggas is demons. So check this out. So they hire a hitman to kill the man who wouldn't take the bribe for the daughter that got raped. And then they killed the hitman on top of it so that he couldn't say nothing. If I was the cousin, I might have been a little bit skeptical, like, hey, man, so we going to kill him, so am I next? I might have to get you before you got me. This is the tangled web we weave. This is the tangled web we weave here.
All three men now face 2 counts of first-degree murder, armed criminal action, and felonies like statutory rape.
I would have never thought something like this would happen around here.
Neighbor Hugh Deberly was home the day Warren was killed.
Next thing I know, I heard about
That's crazy.
4 or 5 gunshots. Then I seen them running across my yard into a car, and they took off. They tried to revive him, and his kids are out there crying.
Warren's neighbors remember
He looked like Kid Cudi. We got that Kid Cudi look to
him as a devoted dad and friend.
Well, they took a person's life. You know, a person was trying to do right, and they killed him for it. So they should have to pay too.
Prosecutors said this was not being charged as a murder for hire plot, but that could change if evidence points to that. Harmon is held on a $2 million bond in St. Louis County, and the Youngs are in federal custody, also on $2 million bonds each.
Why do they have a bond is what I'm trying to understand. Why do they have a bond? These people is out here killing people, and they killing people that kill people that they hired to kill people, and they raping people. Why do they have a bond? This is why the movie Law Abiding Citizen came out. This is why the movie Law Abiding Citizen came out. Because why do they have a bond? Why do they have even a smidgen of an opportunity to get out of jail? Any of them. They should not have a bond. These niggas should be held over and they should have a speedy trial, and then they should go straight to the gas chamber. Not even the gas chamber. Why are we spending money on that? They should just go straight firing squad. Seriously, they should just be straight firing squad. 100% firing squad. They should not even have a bond. Look at these evil, demonic people. Look that's who they killed. Why do any of them have a bond? He got a $2 million bond. He got a $2 million bond, and he got a $2 million bond. Why do they have a bond? Crazy, man. Insane. Insane. They should not even be here anymore. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says a good interview would be you and T.I. Expeditiously. Jazz Wright said, you've changed my strategy on finances entirely. Stocks, using real estate as a tax shelter, will cement me and my family's financial future. Sacrifice your goals for your goals to become the sacrifice. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, but don't join today. Join tomorrow. Don't join today. Join tomorrow. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Jazz Wright is telling you. Charlie LeBron says, just kidding, AD. Watching your channel changed my life. Shout out to Charlie LeBron. Nice for everything says, when and where can we get the bag chaser hats? We're working on it. I'm working on it. I got trademarks coming. I got to make sure that you listen. I'm a patient man, and so I need y'all to be patient also. I'm a patient man, and so y'all gonna have to be patient also. We have to make sure that we do things right and in order. So we got trademarks going through. We got trademark lawyers working on things. We got different things that's happening across the board. And so I got to make sure before I just start throwing out merch and before I start throwing out my name, I got to make sure that I take care of the business on top of that. All right. So as soon as we get the business together and we working on it feverishly, we're expediting the process. As soon as we get the business together, then y'all gonna get the hats and y'all gonna get all of this stuff to go along with it. All right. It's one more thing that I wanted to go over, but I might hold off on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that one. I don't think that's. I want to go over to Trump. I want to go over to Trump real quick. All right. So we're going to go over to Trump and we're going to go over to the shutdown. So we're going to speed through this real quick and then we're going to get over to the money. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And we got after hours tonight. Last night was dope. We just had a little bit of a technical issue. I don't know why the audio started messing up.
Fresh off his overseas trip, President Trump this morning putting pressure on Republicans to end the shutdown. Posting overnight, it's now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card, calling for an approach they've resisted so far, the so-called nuclear option, which would allow Republicans to pass bills with a simple majority rather than the 60 votes, which requires them to work with Democrats. Both sides have been resistant to that move in the past, fearing it gives the majority party too much power.
The 60-vote threshold has protected this country.
It comes as the shutdown is now entering its 31st day. Members of the military were set to miss a paycheck today, but the White House announcing it will move around $5 billion in federal funds to make sure they're still paid. Still, many federal workers struggling, some filing for unemployment for the first time, with more than 8,800 filed new claims last week alone, according to the Labor Department data reviewed by NBC News. Food banks in demand in Washington, D.C. and throughout the country. At the stroke of midnight on Saturday, the federal government is scheduled to halt all SNAP food assistance.
Without SNAP, it's going to be hard to find food that's able to feed us.
It's a problem members of Congress recognize, but fail to have an answer for.
You're messing with people's lives. That is outrageous.
Instead, the two sides engaged in a high-stakes blame game. Democrats pushing to pass a standalone bill to extend SNAP benefits, arguing the administration must release billions in already approved contingency funds. Republicans dismissing the bill as political theater, but Democrats argue that the country is on the verge of a healthcare crisis, and backing down will cause even more damage.
The talks will go nowhere if Republicans remain completely intransigent and resistant to any compromise on extending the health care coverage.
And even though President Trump is now calling for his Republican colleagues to go around Democrats by nuking the filibuster, that's something that can't happen anytime soon because lawmakers have already left Washington, meaning they can't come back until the beginning of next week. We are approaching much closer to that record-breaking government shutdown of more than 34 days. And with no end in sight, food bank distribution centers like this across the country are going to find the companion stress of dealing with people in need and those that are running out of their SNAP benefits.
I hope this is a wake-up call for most people to divest themselves and detach themselves from depending on the federal government for you to feed yourself. I didn't even know anything about this whole filibuster thing, and that he could go around it. I didn't know anything about this. This is all 100% brand new to me. I wasn't aware of this. So what y'all telling me is that the Democrats really never had any leverage whatsoever, but they was pretending like they had leverage. So the real leverage is the fact that Trump can really hit the button and go around Democrats and do whatever it is that he wanted to do based off of the fact that they still control the majority. And so, yeah, I'm hearing about it. I just pulled up an article where it says that it's called the nuclear option also, Eric D. Let me review this one right here.
President Trump is calling on Republicans to change the rules in the Senate to reopen the government. Trump posting overnight, it is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. The move would allow Republicans to pass a bill to fund the government with a simple majority instead of the 60 votes currently needed. But Senate Majority Leader John Thune has warned against this move, saying it could come back to bite Republicans whenever Democrats take power back. Meanwhile, millions of Americans feared their food assistance.
Whenever Democrats take power back. So wait a minute. Their warning is, listen, guys, if you use the nuclear option and you go around us and you basically reopen the government and push this thing through anyway, then be careful because we may be able to use it whenever we decide to whenever we get back in office, we may do the same thing. Well, here's my thing. If you are warning Republicans and saying, hey, well, if you do this, then A, B, C, and D, I'm a little confused because Republicans didn't shut the government down when it came to Biden pushing through and keeping the government open and making sure the government had been funded. It was threats to, it came nowhere near to this level. So y'all had an opportunity to now get with the president of the United States of America and then negotiate after you kept the government funded temporarily, but you decided to stand 10 toes down. Now you're warning them and saying, hey, if y'all use a nuclear option to get this thing open and to make sure that people still get their government benefits and that we fund air traffic controllers, because I got a flight tomorrow and I got a tight schedule. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a tight schedule tomorrow, and the last thing that I can deal with is a delay, because if everything goes smooth, then I'm definitely gonna have one of the biggest interviews of the year, and it's gonna come at the perfect time. It's absolutely gonna come at the perfect time. And so it's a lot of money on the line. It's a lot of things happening, a lot of moving pieces, and that's just on my own personal thing. I got a flight to Croatia. The last thing I need is a delay because, you got to always do a layover. And so there is no direct flights from Detroit to Croatia. So for me to be able to get through and take care of business, if y'all start fucking up the money and y'all start fucking up the bag, then we going to have a problem. We absolutely going to have a problem. And so I know that there's people that got way bigger problems than me, right? I know people that can't feed their families. And I ain't talking about the people. Yeah, I'm a vlog the whole time. I've been vlogging every day, so I got a lot of content that I'm editing through. I'm gonna edit some stuff on a plane and drop it for y'all tomorrow. But it's people that got bigger issues than me, and I ain't even talking about the people that got food stamps that's waiting on food stamps. I'm talking about people that, oh, Croatia is beautiful, Sugar Shane. You need to open up your mind. He said, who wants to go to Croatia? And then he started laughing. You must not know. Listen. Y'all have to get out of your bubble. You have to get out of your bubble. There are places in the world outside of the Dominican Republic and fucking Mexico and Canada. You have to go to other places that you've never been to before. Croatia is supposedly one of the most beautiful places, especially when it comes to, well, I'm not going to deep dive into that. But I heard that Croatia is gorgeous. Are y'all limiting yourself? Is that the thing that y'all doing? Y'all only go back and forth to Tulum? We'll get there. But the point is that there are people that have been working for almost a month. There are people that have been working for a month and have not got a paycheck. TSA agents, air traffic controllers, people that work for the federal government, essential employees, they've been working for a month. And they have not been able to get a paycheck. And so there's people that have much, much bigger problems than me, And yet you got the Democrats that's basically holding it. Let me tell you what the Democrats is doing at this point, honestly. They're anticipating that now that I'm starting to recall a lot of the conversations, when you think about it, when you think about Jasmine Crockett, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, AOC, they've been saying, hey, they the ones that control all three branches of government. I mean, I know they need 60 votes, but this is on them. They throwing it into the Republicans' lap. And Democrats is not going to be able to recover from this, in my opinion, in my lifetime. It would take a massive fumble on a historic front for Democrats to be able to get back to people that's leaving their party. People are not fucking with Democrats right now, bro. And every single month, it seems like more and more people defect. If Trump hit the button and opened back up the government and the Democrats didn't participate in it, it's over for y'all. It's up. Time is up for y'all. If Trump hit the button, listen to what I'm saying. If Trump hit the button, the nuclear option, and they open up the federal government and you guys didn't participate, that's it. Y'all not going Eric D, I disagree with you. You said it shows that the Dem strategy is working. Yeah, working against them. It's working against them. If the Republicans have to do everything on their own and they hit the button and they open up the federal government and they start feeding people again and people start getting their paychecks and the Democrats didn't have anything to do with it, you know that it's going to go left for them. It's just going to go left. It's going to go 100% left. In no scenario does this work out for Democrats.
Or SNAP benefits will run out tomorrow as the government shutdown drags on.
I've gone to social media to ask for help from everyone that I could possibly think of.
It now appears a federal judge hearing
You didn't ask for all of the help you need.
Everyone that I could.
You didn't listen. Shout out to all of my big bags, because let me tell you something. Y'all wasn't anticipating having to use what you got to get what you want, and the price of the brick is going down. So y'all have to compete with chicks that's much, much more skinnier and in a better space and better fit for the task. I know a couple women personally. They said, "I'm going home." They said, "I'm going home. I ain't about to be out here. I can't." I know what chick that's an air traffic controller. And she ain't doing no Uber. She ain't doing no DoorDash. She said, She was thinking about leaving her situation and going to greener pastures. She said, it ain't no greener pasture right now. She said, you know what? God told me to stay put and to stay with my man. Going home. She ain't asked everybody. It's about to be a recession out here. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely about to be a recession. When it hurts so bad. When it hurts so bad. Ain't that what Lauryn Hill says? When it hurts so bad. When it hurts so bad.
Possibly think of.
It now appears a federal judge hearing a lawsuit over emergency funding may step in. Judge Indira Talwani saying right now Congress has put money in an emergency fund for an emergency, and it's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency. Republicans argue it's not that easy.
If they transfer funds from these other sources, it pulls it away immediately from school meals and infant formula.
The judge dismissing the administration's explanation, saying, I want agency action, not lawyering. We're not going to make everyone drop dead. The judge could compel the administration to release the funds, but whether the Trump administration will comply remains to be seen. And even if it does, the emergency funding available would still fall short of the monthly SNAP payouts. Back on Capitol Hill, Democrats digging in, refusing to open the government until Republicans agreed to extend Obamacare subsidies to prevent health care insurance premiums from skyrocketing next year. A Utah woman we spoke to says even with the subsidies, her premium next year will rise from $495 to $753. And without the subsidies, it will more than quadruple to more than $2,100.
We can't afford to double what it costs for us to live just to have health insurance.
Republicans argue the Affordable Care Act, which set up Obamacare, was a bad law that drives up premiums and strains doctors.
What is Trump RX? I just pulled this up and I'm trying to better understand because I heard that Mark Cuban was praising Trump's effort in creating Trump RX. Mark Cuban is a flip-flopper also. Have y'all heard anything about this?
Billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban out with some rare praise for the Trump administration surrounding its efforts to lower drug prices. Bertha Coombs spoke exclusively with Mr. Cuban. Joins us now from the Health USA conference in Las Vegas. Bertha.
Hey, David. Yeah, you know, Mark Cuban has really been on a mission to bring down drug prices. That's what Cost Plus is all about. And he feels that the Trump administration is really making a good start at trying to combat that with Most Favored Nation and with Trump RX. And in fact, he's all in when it comes to Trump RX right now.
We gave him our API. You know, they're going to be a referral site. We're feeding them daily updates because with Cost Plus, as our volumes go up and our prices go down, we pass through those savings. And so it'll be great for us. We're really excited about it. I think it's a great thing. This administration completely different. I'm not saying I'm a Donald Trump fan now, but credit where credit is due. They are trying their best to reduce the cost of prescriptions and of health.
Okay, so I get it. So Trump RX is basically a marketplace that allows for people to be able to shop and reduce the amount that they paying for healthcare and prescription prices or prescription drugs, right? Now, Mark Cuban, who was adamantly against the Trump administration and had all of the things to say when he endorsed Kamala Harris for president of the United States of America, has now jumped back on the bandwagon like Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith jumped off of the bandwagon when he was on the when he was on a Republican bandwagon. And Mark Cuban is jumping on the bandwagon and working with the Trump administration to make sure that they reduce the amount that they paying in prescription drugs. All right, I get it. Whatever. That's what people do. That's what business people do. They're going to flip-flop and they're going to change their position depending on what suits them best. Got it. Now, in addition to that, let me say this. I think that our healthcare system is broken. I believe that Eric D, I know you said Mark Cuban has been working for years to lower drug prices. I agree because he has a company that benefits from it. And so I think that he should be rewarded if he's able to create a marketplace that helps people lower their prescription drug prices. What I'm saying, Eric D, is he said some of the craziest things about the Trump administration. He has some of the most negative things to say. He was not talking anything like this before. Can two things be true at the same time? Absolutely. Eric D says, oh, please, J.D. Vance flip-flopped on Trump. 100%. But see, J.D. Vance came back to the front of the congregation and admitted that he was wrong about Trump. He didn't hide. See, it's okay for people to change their perspective. You grow, you learn, you adjust according to what you see happening in real time. But see, if you don't admit that you were wrong in the first place from the things that you did, then that's when it sounds like you a grifter. Or that's when it sounds like, hey, okay, so they was working with you because they wanted your endorsement so that they can become president of the United States of America. J.D. Vance said, I was wrong. This is what I thought after he became president. This is my opinion of him now. And so this is why I've changed my perspective. I was wrong about Trump. Mark Cuban is just flip-flopping because he said it was no way that Trump was supposed to be successful when it came to him having a second term as the United States president. He called him dumb. He called him stupid. He said they didn't know what they was doing. He said all of this stuff. Now, all of a sudden, you know what? Trump is great. You know what? These guys are really working with us. Just admit that he was wrong. Come on, Eric D. I know you listen, you've been pretty reasonable lately, but today you want one. Today you want one, Eric D. Just be reasonable and just say, listen, I was wrong. All he had to do was say, I was off on that one. You know what? I apologize. I was off on that. I did it when I went up to Fresh and Fit. I said, you know what, guys? I know y'all not telling me to. The very, very first 30 seconds in the stream, I said, you know what, guys? Let me be a man about this and own the fact that I did not reach out to you guys to better understand your position. And I jumped on the bandwagon because it seemed like y'all was wrong and it was a popular thing to do at the time. And my friends was doing it. And so I was not thinking and having my own mind. So I have to give you guys an apology because now we have the opportunity to figure it out and learn. And so I was wrong. And so I apologize about that. There's nothing wrong with changing your perspective, but when you're wrong, you should at least admit that you're wrong, right? No, that's not the way that men do things. That's not how we do things. When we wrong, we don't, Dizzy, I ain't gonna do that. We just gonna rock out. Let me hear the rest of what Mark Cuban had to say, because I remember he was
care and of insurance. Now, they know when I talk to them that all these things I just mentioned to you are the core issues. And what they're doing with Trump RX will help, but it's just superficial, right? It's not going to happen.
Hold on.
Someone like Donald Trump use his platform not to do any semblance of good, but rather to kind of vilify people that so that he can help himself politically.
Yeah, that's the Roy Cohn school of management, right? You demonize and demonize and demonize and give credit to nobody else. And that is the antithesis of good leadership. That's the antithesis of good character. That's the antithesis of being ethical. That's who Donald Trump is. I've known him for 25 years. I'm never going to say we were best friends, but he is the most unethical, lacks character, dishonest person I've ever done business with or worked with.
Cool.
About it. I think it's he's gave them our API. You know, they're going to be a referral site. We're feeding them daily updates because with Cost Plus, as our volumes go up and our prices go down, we pass through those savings. And so it'll be great for us. We're really excited about it. I think it's a great thing. This administration completely different. I'm not saying I'm a Donald Trump fan now. But credit where credit is due. They are trying their best to reduce the cost of prescriptions and of healthcare and of insurance. Now, they know when I talk to them that all these things I just mentioned to you are the core issues. And what they're doing with Trump RX will help, but it's just superficial, right? It's not going to change the game and change everybody's lives, right? But at least I give them credit for trying.
That's what he talked about. He said Trump already.
Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm gonna read the super chats, but I want to address this comment because I like to address the comments. Sugar Shane, you've been on one today this morning too, so we're gonna get to you. Damn, AD needs to cut the commercial breaks in the show. I know you want the bag deep, but damn. So wait a minute. See, I got YouTube Premium. I'm not pushing YouTube Premium because YouTube don't pay me to push YouTube Premium, but I want to be very, very, very clear, and I'm trying to understand something here. Are you telling me that I'm supposed to limit the amount of money that I make by not running commercials? And the commercials are set to automatic, so I don't know when they're going to run and when they ain't. But you're telling me that I'm supposed to reduce the amount that I'm paying or that I make in commercials by making you feel better about your experience. Are you smoking crack? Are you smoking crack? Why would I lower my bag for you? Clearly, you're not a part of the bag chasers. Clearly, you're not a part of the bag chasers. Are you smoking crack? Why would I ever lower the amount of money that I make so that you could feel more comfortable about yourself? Y'all niggas is crazy. Why y'all always asking for a handout? Now, I don't ask anybody for anything. I don't ask anybody for super chats. I don't ask nobody for cash apps. But nigga, I'll be damned if you start fucking up my money. What you niggas is on? Y'all always want the hookup. Hey man, can you limit the commercials? Nigga, you got the ability to limit the commercials on your end by getting YouTube Premium, nigga. These niggas always want you to take a pay cut. Damn, I ain't raised the price on a Patreon since I started it. Since I started the Patreon, I have not raised the prices, not $1. I ain't raised prices on shit. These niggas want you to, man, y'all niggas. That's why I don't do business with these people, man. You can't do business, man. The minute there's somebody, and I tell y'all all the time, I have never asked a contractor, my architect, nobody. Whenever they give me their price, I make a decision of whether or not I want to pay the price or I want to go with another competitor. 9 times out of 10, I pay the price. My architect, he get 15% of whatever it costs me to build the property, and I put all of the top upgrades in there so he make extra money. These niggas always want you to take a pay cut. Jesus Christ. Boy, hey man, dang, bro. Can you limit the commercials? No, nigga, work an extra hour at your job, pay the fucking YouTube Premium, and have a better experience. I don't tell the Pistons to cut the prices on what it is that I pay. If I want to sit courtside, then I just pay the price. Matter of fact, let me go and look at what it is that I owe. Oh, let me see something. Team tickets, my Pistons account. I need to see what I owe. Sign in. I don't even know what what's my password? Shit. Pay invoice? Is that what it is? The way my checking and savings, because I only got $1 in my account. So the way that my checking and savings is set up, you know what I'm saying? Woo! I've made $91,000 in payments. I owe $13,000. They said they're gonna take that out of my account on the 1st. Oh, freaking Jason. I mean, I gotta go make some more money. If they take that, I'm gonna be paid in full. Let me see. 6 or 7 completed. All right, we're gonna have to get that together. Jeez. I didn't ask them for a discount. They said, nope, your tickets is $105,000. I didn't ask them for a discount. Nope. I'm not turning commercials off. I got to get this fucking thing paid off. I got to get it paid off. I got to get this thing paid off, bro. I have to pay my stuff. I had to pay $13,500 a month. I'm not, nigga, I'm leaving commercials on. Boy, I'm leaving commercials on. You talking about? Nigga, I gotta get these tickets paid off. I got a payment coming out tomorrow. They said that they're gonna charge my card tomorrow. Tomorrow they charging. You know what I'm saying? Fuck. Nigga gonna ask me to turn commercials off. No, nigga, I'm not turning nothing off. Let's do tomorrow. Oh, look at Eric D. See, shout out to Eric D. Eric D is such a good guy. Eric D is such a good guy. Eric D says this is for Sugar Shane. Let me say this. This is how you know we respect each other, but we be having different perspectives. This is how you know we respect each other, but we having different perspectives. Eric D will disagree with me, and then he'll pay for you niggas. Shout out to my dog, Eric D. I appreciate you, bro. Devastator says, 80, what's your thoughts on Netflix and Paramount looking into buying Warner Bros. Discovery? I don't know. It depends on the company. Which side do you want me to explain it from? So if you're explaining it from the purchaser perspective, I don't like, okay, so I shouldn't be going into this, and I'm not going to really talk about it because I want to talk about it on the Patreon. So I'm going to just say this. I'm going to look at it from this lens, all right? When Disney bought Fox, they went into massive debt because the content library, they were buying it so that they can be able to build out Disney Plus and have a big library. So if they're doing it with debt, that would be a problem, and I would be looking at it differently from an investor's perspective. If they're doing it straight cash, then I think that's a plus. For Warner Brothers to put itself up for sale, I think that they're under duress. I'm gonna just leave it at that. We're gonna hold off for a second, and I'm gonna get into that on Stock Club. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, if you are an investor in any of these companies, Netflix, Comcast, or whatever, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We're gonna break into that. I'm gonna break it down. I'm going into all of these AI companies. I'm going into the streaming wars. I'm going into update based off of the new results, and then we're gonna reposition our portfolios based off of what we've experienced. All right. So shout out to you, Devastator. Don't keep trying to get me to give out Patreon level game. All right. No Fluff TV says $300 million to renovate a ballroom inside of the White House, and it will not be done until 2029. And this is during the time the public can't tour the White House. What are they really building? I don't think it matters because it's not happening with public dollars. It's happening with private donations. What y'all really need to be worried about is Obama building that monstrosity that they can't pay for, and they use diversity, equity, and inclusion to hire black contractors, and the concrete is already cracking, and it looks like an eyesore. That's what you really need to be worried about. Don't worry about what's happening in the White House. They expanding and they building a ballroom, and it's going to be awesome. But while they're building this ballroom and it's going to be awesome, the Obama library is delayed. It's more than double the budget of what it was going to cost to build. It's already cracking and breaking. They hired a black concrete contractor that wasn't experienced for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's already breaking and breaking down. And they still they have no finishing date in sight, and they don't know when they can raise enough money to be able to finish it. Sounds like a nigga moment, don't it? Matter of fact, let's get into that. Let's talk about that for a minute. I get there. Shout out to you. Trump know what he doing. Trump has actually been a builder, right? He's actually developed and built multiple different buildings. Now, the Obama over there, we don't know nothing about that. A.R. Smitty says, imagine the Dems denying food stamps to people and Trump saying, y'all persecuted me, but come on through. Let me see. Ray C says, do you see anything good that the Dems do at all? This version of the Democratic Party? What did they do good? I'll wait. Instead of asking me, do I see anything that the Dems do good? Give me some insight on what they've done good. I'll do you one better, Ray C. I'll do you one better. I'm going to drop a link inside of the chat. For anybody that can tell me one, give me three things. And if you can't give me three, I'll pare it down to one. Give me three things that the Democrats have done that has been good over the last 4 years. AD hates black-owned companies. Why should I even reply to these stupid motherfuckers? Give me three things that the Democrats have done that is good. Because don't ask me, do I like it? Propose to me something that educates me on how much better that they are than the Republicans, and then we'll go from there. While I wait, right, that's what I'm saying. Why even explain it though, Ezekiel? I'm literally a black company. I literally fund black businesses. Who do you know? Because see, I hate having to pull the receipts and all of this shit. Who do you know that has actually funded tens and dozens of black businesses? Because I've given seed money to black businesses that, you see this hat right here? This hat is being made by a business that I funded 2 years ago because they are thriving in their business. And so as a result, he came to a Patreon meetup and he gave out hats to me and to the bag chasers, and now it's taking off, and now we doing business with them. Who you know who has funded dozens of businesses? You still got your hat still? It's always niggas that don't do nothing for nobody that got something to say about somebody that's doing it for everybody. Every single business that I've funded has been people from, and it ain't because I've said, nope, it was a couple different people that were snow bunnies. It was a couple people that were snow bunnies that I actually helped fund their business also. Sugar Shane. You there, Shane? Oh, Shane dipped. It's amazing, man. People just say dumb shit. That's what make me not want to do nothing for nobody. And if I was just a straight capitalist, I would just be like, you know what, fuck it. What's the point? Because you're not going to be appreciated anyway. I don't see nobody telling me about anything that the Democrats have done good. So I'm going to just continue on with the show. And yes, absolutely. These niggas is miserable, bro. Miserable. Absolutely miserable. Spacer says family plan for YouTube Premium covers 6 people for $30 a month. KB says no ad, but premium comes with ad-free music too. It does. Mr. Trait, but I got Apple Music, so I don't really worry about that. Can I get a coaching call? I've been emailing. Bro, we wait until December before we start to get that popping. We wait until December before we starting to get that popping. Let me see something real quick. Let me just see something. Just really, really quickly. Obama library. I don't want to get
The Obama Presidential Center, a monstrosity and an eyesore, which it is. That's according to recent interviews by the Daily Mail. One local saying it looks like this big piece of rock that just landed here out of nowhere in what used to be a really nice landscape.
They're also building the Obama Presidential Library. I'm wondering if you've seen. He needs help. Have you seen pictures of the architecture? And
yeah, I did. It's not too pretty. No, but it's closed. It's stopped. They ran out of money. I mean, he's building a library / museum. You know, you call it some museum, and usually they call it library and museum. That's the official name. And they're stuck. And he wanted only women and DEI to build it. Well, that's what they got. I built a great building in Chicago, as you know, a big, beautiful building, one of the tallest buildings in the country. And we got it built very quickly, very well. And we used the construction workers of Chicago. They're great workers. They're great construction people. And I suggest that he get them involved. But they're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget. And I think it stopped. I'm reading these terrible stories. But that's the way our country was run under President Obama, too. Nobody knew it.
That was President Trump joining in on the grown.
So where's the lie at? Where's the lie? They in debt. They ran out of money. They don't know how they're going to fund it. Trump has already gotten his presidential library funded because you know what he is first? He's a businessman. So while Obama continues to circle the country and he continues to try to do Netflix documentaries, so he can get some more money so that he can pour into his presidential library. Isn't it fitting? Isn't it fitting that a president that didn't stand on merit, but was always about diversity, equity, and inclusion, has ran out of money because they have hundreds of millions of dollars in cost overruns? You're going to have $1 billion monstrosity living in Chicago of all places, that is going through all hell. All hell is happening and breaking loose in Chicago. And you have the Obama Presidential Library, in which they don't even live in Chicago anymore. But now it looks like a piece of shit and it's still with cost overruns. And they saying that it got it's cracking in the foundation. Let me see something. They calling it the Tower of Babel. Oh, They're calling it the Tower of Babel. That is literally what they are calling it, the Tower of Babel, bro. You can't make this up. This is what they saying at the look. I'm about to show it to y'all. Check this out. This is what they saying at the concrete foundation. Significant cracking in the slabs that was poured for the library because they hired a black contractor that didn't know what he was doing. They hired a black contractor that didn't know what he's doing. And so now they having significant cracks in the foundation. That's what's happening. See, I've been following this and I've been looking at it. And so now it's cracks all throughout the foundation that they poured. And the contractor that was overseeing the project is pissed because he was forced to hire this big contractor because of the contract. And so now it's not actually what it's supposed to be. And this is why we have to do things based off of merit. This is why we have to do things based off merit. Delay in work, going over budget at the center of this whole years-long delay. This is crazy, bro. This is absolutely insane. Lawsuit filed on behalf of Robert McGee Jr. in the United States District Court, Northern Illinois, Eastern Division on January 17th. He owns 2-in-1, a company based on the south side of Chicago that has provided concrete and rebar services for the Obama Presidential Library. McGee is seeking $40 million in construction costs from the New York-based engineering consulting firm Thornton Tomasetti. Thornton Tomasetti has been a part of numerous well-known projects, including the concrete high-rise office building on 10 Hudson's Yard in Manhattan. All of these other things: Chicago's Navy Pier, Minnesota's Sherman Minton Bridge, Wimbledon #1 Court, and the visitor facility at the Washington Monument. The firm was hired by the Barack Obama Foundation to serve as a structural engineer in the presidential center's construction, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit says that 2-in-1 had its joint venture partners that were subjected to baseless criticism and defamatory and discriminatory accusations by Thornton Tomasetti. Moreover, Bob McGee was aware and supportive of Obama Foundation's diversity, equity, and inclusion goals for the project and never imagined that Obama's foundation's structural engineer would single out a minority-owned subcontractor for unfair criticism and falsely accused 2-in-1 of lacking sufficient qualifications and experience to perform its work, while in the same letter stating that the non-minority owned contractors were sufficiently qualified. They talked about the inexperience of the concrete subcontractor, which is one of the reasons why they have all of these cracks in the foundation, because they didn't know what they're doing. So now the black-owned subcontractor is trying to sue the engineering firm and say, y'all are slandering our name by saying that we did bad work, even though we got the contract or we got the concrete foundation and it's fucked up on this monstrosity. Imagine your biggest, most important contract today on Obama. Hey, 2-in-1. I know a contractor. No, listen. I wouldn't be much of a president if I didn't support, especially in Chicago. You know, we got to have some black contractors in Chicago. We're not going to just go based off of, because Michelle said, forget the bids, and you want to do the presidential library. You're going to have to pick a diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're not doing bids off merit. We're doing bids on black people. Got to have a black subcontractor. So, no, one guy over there, it's my man, my buddy. I went to high school together, played ball. Swish. Swish 2 times. That's why the name of his company is 2-in-1 Concrete. And you got to hire these guys. I've seen them do it. They put in my basketball court at my house. So I know this is a much bigger project. How much different can contractors, be? How much different could it be? Lay some concrete on the ground, pour some concrete in the building, some rebar, put some rebar in there, and and it shouldn't crack. It shouldn't crack. You know what I'm saying? They said if you lay my basketball court in my backyard, you should be able to lay the Obama Presidential Library that goes 200 stories high and is a monstrosity. No? Okay. All right. Well, this is his legacy. But Trump, let me see, eyesore. Here we go. They said it was going to be $330 million to build this Obama museum that y'all can go and read books in. Now it's already up to 830, more than $500 million in cost overruns. This is why you needed a businessman inside of the White House. Y'all can't hear me? Can y'all hear me? I'm not muted. Okay, so y'all do hear me? So y'all can't hear the video. Okay, I'm good. All right. So $500 million in cost overruns. $500 million in cost overruns. And they telling you that this is going to be good, right? They telling you that these people knew how to run the government. The news clip was muted. All right, I'm going to reshare it. Don't worry, I got you. Tell me if y'all can hear this.
In Chicago Red member P. Ray Easy. P. Ray, we're excited to talk to you again. What do you make of this? Because costs for Obama's center to taxpayers like you in Chicago and Illinois are now soaring to $224 million for upgrades around Obama's center. How do you guys feel about all this?
Once again, we're talking about something that isn't fair in the city of Chicago. The Obama Foundation was supposed to create an endowment that was supposed to be funded with $430 million in order to make sure that the taxpayers were not.
Look at this, y'all. Look at this. What the fuck is going on? Look at this trash center. Wow. So we didn't know that he didn't have taste either. This is trash. What is this? What does this belong in? Doom? Star Wars? Who said that this design was beautiful? Wow. It does. It looks like a prison. It looks like a prison. This looks like I'm telling you, it looks like a, I don't know, bro. This is crazy. This is crazy. And it went from 330 million to now it's going to balloon to well over $1 billion. $1 billion.
Not given a bill. Well, friends, the Obama organization has only put $1 million in that endowment, which means that they're $429 million short. And this is how things go in Chicago. You plan things, you tell people how it's going to go, but then you never fulfill what you're supposed to do, and the taxpayers are once again left with the bill. We didn't ask for this at all. Once again, Melody Hobson and her husband, George Lucas, wanted to build a museum on our lakefront. They were not allowed to do that because you're not supposed to use public public land. They changed the rules for the Obama Foundation, sold them the land for $10, and now we're being stuck with the bill, and we still haven't seen any proof of public good. So we'll see how it goes.
Wow.
For $10. They got all of that land.
Senator Ted Cruz says it looks like Star Wars Death Star. Let's take a listen to what your fellow Chicagoans had to say about Obama's costly center. Watch.
What do you think it looks like?
Like a jail, kind of.
Like a jail.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was a great president, and it's basically ruined all the traffic down this way for 2 years.
What would you call that architecture?
Garbage can, maybe, just a little.
It's just a giant gray TARDIS, that's all.
It looks like an ATC tower.
ATC tower.
That's like a big mausoleum.
A big mausoleum.
Yeah.
What do you think? Isn't it supposed to be for Chicago residents? But, you know, people there are saying it's an eyesore. It looks like a giant mausoleum.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't match our Chicago architecture, which we are world renowned for. I think that the former president wanted to create something that was going to be very unique on the South Side that illustrated his presidency. And now we have in America a big rock that contributes nothing to anybody but himself and his ego. That's what we're dealing with here. And I wish that the city of Chicago would have fought back a little harder to put this entity somewhere else where it wouldn't mess up the traffic nor take any of the parkland.
That's crazy. Listen, shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. It's bad. It's bad. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. Y'all said, can they tear it down? They're not going to tear it down. They already put $830 million and they costing taxpayer money to do it now too. And Chicago ain't even got no money for that. They already in a budget deficit. He needs help. He needs help. Well, maybe we can talk to Trump. We can talk to Trump. Michelle, get Melania on the phone. Did you treat her? Oh, you didn't. You refused to go to the inauguration. You didn't go to the funeral. See, Michelle burned bridges, and that's why they in this situation that they in right now. Michelle burned bridges. She did not go to what it was. What was it? The funeral? It was a funeral. It was somebody's funeral, and Trump was there, and she said she wasn't going, and she going for her own reasons, and now they can't get no help in order to finish the presidential library. Remember that? Remember she said, I ain't going. I'm going to be the first one that ain't going. And she started twisting her head and snapping her fingers 2 times and said, I'm going to start a podcast and said, now, yep, Jimmy Carter's funeral. Now, see what you did? You see what you did? Now you get back what you put in. Now you get back what you put in. You decided that you didn't want to go. Now you can't get no help. This is why you don't burn bridges. This is why you keep good relationships. Not tough, but now we in the situation. All right, what we on next? Let's see what we got going on. Let's see what we got popping. What story was that? What all did we do? We talked about Obama's presidential library. We talked about Dearborn. We talked about the shutdown, and we talked about something else. Trump RX. I think we was talking about Trump RX. No, that don't help. That's not gonna help. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Let's Disney and YouTube, the NFL ticket. Let me see. CEO. What do I want to talk about? I want to look at some liberal news. I don't want to talk about that. Let me see something. Oh, okay. All right. So let's first start here since we're still on the politics stuff. I want to get into this really quickly. All right. I want to get into this because We was talking about it last night, and I want to scrub through this Kamala Harris interview real quick because she was on that business podcast. What's the name of this? Diary of a CEO. Really, really popular platform trying to sell a book, and she said a lot of things. Let me see. Worst thing you faced in your career. Let's scrub through this a little bit.
Give me some context there. What does that mean in reality?
Well, for a while, I specialized in child sexual assault, which is about the most horrendous of abuse and crime.
When does that decision get made in your career?
Yeah.
And at what point in this journey did you realize that you wanted to be president of the United States? Like, was there a lunch or a dinner you had with Doug? When does that decision get made in your career?
It was when I was in the Senate.
Yeah.
I ran into a friend who came up. Doug and I were at basically a family table in a local restaurant eating. And he said to me, "You should run for president."
Why is her neck so old? How old is Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris age. She's only 61. Her neck should not look like it's 87. She got an 87-year-old's neck. Why does her neck? And listen, I hate to be the person that point out a bunch of little individual things, but I just got to ask the question, why the fuck is her neck so old?
In a local restaurant eating, and he said to me, "You should run for president."
She got a bodybuilder's neck. What's wrong with her neck? Why is her neck so old? And listen, I've never been diagnosed with anything. This ain't ADHD or anything like that. I'm just trying to understand what the fuck is going on. She's 61. She has an 83-year-old woman's neck. Can't you fix that? Don't they do skin pulls or something like that? Because it's a lot of women that fix their neck. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It's really crazy. It's like a really old neck. She got a regular woman's face with an old woman's neck. I don't know what that is.
And it had not occurred to me until then. It had not occurred to me to run for president. There are people who are born thinking they're going to be president. There are people who look in the mirror every day and see a president.
Can't stop looking at her neck. That's maybe why she's doing like this. I can't stop her neck.
I was not one of those people. But then the thought terminated. And then, of course, being vice president and doing the work of vice president of the United States, I met with over 150 world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, chancellors, and kings. I've negotiated very important deals and
like what?
Issues on behalf of the American people. I've spent countless hours, not only in the Oval Office, but the Situation Room and traveling around the world. And so in those 107 days, I was fully aware of not only the importance of the job, but fully aware that I had the experience and knowledge to be able to do it effectively.
You know what's so funny about this? I remember a video where let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Was it Dave Chappelle? Harris talks going to be president, or was it Kevin Hart? It was somebody, and I don't remember, where they said that they, was it Dave? Yep. And this was a long time ago. Hold on, he said it.
And sitting in the dressing room is Gavin Newsom, who at the time was the mayor of San Francisco, but now he's the governor of California. And sitting next to him was Kamala Harris, who at the time was the DA of San Francisco, Now she's a senator from California that's front running on the Democratic ticket.
Now remember, Dave Chappelle is telling this story, and he's saying that Gavin Newsom was the mayor and Kamala Harris was the district attorney. Now, I know personally from talking to politicians that now obviously we revisiting this after she's on Diary of a CEO and her asking her, hey, when did you think that you would, ever become president of the United States of America? And she's talking about, well, I was a senator about to run for president and all of this other type of stuff. But then I'm sitting there and I'm recalling my memory because I got a crazy fucking memory. It's almost like when people say stuff to me, certain key words lock in my mentality, and then I can go back and revisit certain things, and then I compare and contrast. And when I hear somebody say something in present time, it's like, wait a minute, that's different than the story that Dave Chappelle told. Dave Chappelle said that you was the district attorney and Gavin Newsom was the mayor, and you said that I'm gonna be president of the United States of America one day. It's crazy. Like, I can remember stuff and I could just remember certain things that people say, and it just sticks with me. It just sticks in my head. You know what I'm saying? So when people try to sell a narrative or they try to paint a picture, it's like, you lying. You're lying. You're lying.
Sitting next to Al Gore was the guys from Google, Sergey, and I don't know how to say these. At some point, Kamala Harris says to me, she goes, a friend of mine is announcing his candidacy for president tomorrow. I was certain of it. He sees me, and when he sees me, he looks over, he goes, Dave Chappelle. And Obama did me the same way I did Prince Charles. He dapped me up. He said in my ear, I got your message. And I had a chance to go to the last debate on the Democratic ticket, and I went. It was Barack Obama, John Edwards, and Hillary Clinton. Now, Obama's a lot taller than Edwards and Clinton, and he had the center podium. And I was sitting in the audience like,
man, and it was somebody else that said it. It was somebody else that said that they had walked in a room, and it was Kamala Harris, it was this person, and it was this person. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it because I remember. And I was thinking to myself, oh, so they've been plotting this for a long time. Because when I was talking to the former mayor of Detroit, Kwame Kilpatrick, he told me, he said, listen, bro, they got a bullpen. And I said, what do you mean they got a bullpen? He said, they got a bullpen. And I said, what's a bullpen? He said, a bullpen is a list of people that they're looking to promote and that they have in their back pocket because they know that the person has a chance, and they're trying to push these people and they're grooming them to become whatever it is, play whatever role that they play in or whatever. And he said that, there's a bullpen. He said before he had got caught up in a bunch of stuff and before he got caught up in his situation, that he was in a bullpen and he remembers this person, he remembers that person, so on and so forth. And so I'm like, wow, really? He said, yeah, it's a bullpen. And they already have it planned out 10, 15, 16, sometimes 20, 25, 30 years from now. They already have planned out who they want to become a prominent figure and who they want to play certain roles in politics. So when I see this type of shit and I see them saying stuff like, oh, no, I didn't know that I was going to become president. And it just surprised me that Biden decided that he was going to run. I call 100% bullshit because you can't tell me that they don't have this thing planned and it was just a surprise that that Biden just so happened to announce that he's going to be running for president of the United States of America again, and nobody knew. Obama didn't know, Kamala Harris didn't know, nobody didn't know. Everybody is just confused, and it's not a part of a system that's then generating I just don't believe none of this stuff, man.
I mean, this is one of the things. I was actually just talking to a friend of mine downstairs, Lucy Mangini, who sat out there, and we were talking about this idea of like, does imposter syndrome ever leave you? And imposter syndrome is a bit of a loaded term, but you kind of assume that people in higher places than you are have some like genetic or mental or some gift. They have all the answers. But the higher you climb, with your own continued naivety, you start to suspect that no one really is genetically gifted or like has some superpower that you don't have.
Right.
I agree, Maria.
And I'm wondering if you've experienced that in your career, where the higher you've climbed, you've realized that actually everybody up here is like, I'm like that, like, or I'm at least on their level. Have you had that experience in your career?
Yes, I have. But I've also had the imposter syndrome experience, and that was when I was first elected DA. And
nah, it wasn't Judge Joe Brown that I heard it from. I heard it from, they said they had walked into a room with a bunch of other people, and Kamala Harris was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be president one day or something like that. Was it Charlemagne? It was somebody. I'll find it.
And I challenged then the incumbent. I started out at 6 points in the polls, which is 6 out of 100. People recently asked me, about polls. Well, if I listened to polls, I would have never run for my first office, and therefore we wouldn't be having this interview probably. And I won, and it was not expected that I would, at least when I jumped in the race. And there I was sitting in the office, and I thought, oh my God, I'm now the elected DA of a major city in the United States. In hindsight, we call it imposter syndrome. To your point, maybe it is a very loaded term, because I think there's nothing wrong with having, and I think that there's a lot that is good with having a certain level of humility. And in particular, when the people have vested you with great power, right? To understand it's not about you, right? I think that is part and parcel of what we call imposter syndrome, or who has it. I think often it is because they understand how serious the job is on behalf of others.
Yeah.
And I applaud a bit of humility, honest humility, not feigned humility.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are plenty of people that are, self-deprecating for the sake of the shtick of it all.
Yeah.
But yes, to your point,
Does that ever
the higher you go, it does. It does, because the more you're exposed to being, the more you're in the rooms with the people who otherwise feel untouchable, the more you understand that they are not untouchable.
Yeah. It's a polite way of putting it.
Let me see something. Why she dropped out of the 2019 race?
What's the full context behind the scenes?
There was a lot there. Mostly we ran out of money.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot of lessons, obviously, about running. But that was the main reason.
And at some point you get a call from Mr. President.
I got a call from then Democratic nominee Joe Biden. We FaceTimed. It was during the height of COVID.
Yeah.
And he asked me to be his running mate. And it was a great honor, and I was honored to do it.
Did you have any inclination before that moment that he was going to ask you? Had there been like a side conversation?
So, no, I had an interview. And it was like something out of a spy movie, where I had my assistant drove me to one location. This was in D.C. And then it was a mall. And then I got out of that car to get in another car. That was because the press were watching everything to see there was a short list that was out, who was going to be. So we had to do this whole clandestine thing. And then I got into another car being driven by one of his assistants. And then we went to this, this very circuitous route to a house. And then through the back door, the windows were closed, the shades were closed. And I had my interview. Went back because Doug and I were in our apartment in D.C. because I was senator at the time. And again, height of COVID. Then the press vans were.
I didn't even know that they had I thought that the phones and stuff like that for people that were high level ranking officials that ultimately was running for president of the United States of America and that had Secret Service and stuff like that. I thought that type of stuff they couldn't use.
Were parked out front, and we would just want to go for a walk. Remember, during COVID, everyone just wanted to get some fresh air. They must have thought we couldn't see them. They were like in unmarked vans. So from time to time, I just walked up to them and say, "Look, we're going to get some coffee. Can I bring you anything back? We'll be right back." Right? the day I actually got the call from Joe Biden asking me to run with him was the same day earlier where one of my girlfriends has a house in Virginia, and it was the end of summer, and she had all these beautiful end of summer tomatoes. I like to cook. She brought me this big box of tomatoes, and I was going to make a bunch of marinara and freeze it. Then I get the call from him. I said yes, of course. And I don't know, it felt like within seconds, a parade of people walk into our apartment with a parade of binders, sit down, everyone's in masks, to tell us, okay, this is what the campaign is going to be. And because I hate to waste food, every one of them walked out with me handing them tomatoes.
What the fuck am I listening to, bro? Honestly, man, like there could not be any more of an inauthentic person. And I know I'm messing up my potential for being able to interview certain people and all of that, but don't give a fuck, man. This is so exhausting. Now I remember why she didn't get elected in the first place. Good grief. I want to get to, I haven't listened to the part where she was talking about going on Joe Rogan. So let's skip to that.
The big podcasters in the world like Joe Rogan, etc., and Alex Cooper, I know whose show you went on as part of your campaign. The media landscape is changing before our eyes.
Rapidly.
You're sat in a set now. You're the Madam Vice President. You're sat in effectively my kitchen, my old kitchen where they started, you know? And that's crazy. Like 20 years ago, the thought that you would come to my kitchen is such a crazy thing. But it's in part now because of the democratization of these platforms and creating the content is much cheaper. And we have distribution now across these big platforms. Many would say that it changed the course of the election, podcasting. Not just the podcast you did or didn't go on, but just the conversations that take place on these podcasts. And as I have to say, you know, as podcasters, we don't have the same rigor as traditional journalists, who I respect a lot. We don't have the same teams and real-time fact, all those kinds of things. Podcasting, there was lots of conversation around you going on Joe Rogan's show or not going on Joe Rogan's show. What is the truth there for anyone that hasn't yet read the book? Because Trump did like 100 million views on Joe Rogan's show. And in 3 hours sat there getting to know Trump, and for better or for worse, you probably walked away from that conversation feeling like you knew who he was.
I wanted to do Joe Rogan's show.
Cap.
And there was a lot of games being played.
Cap.
But I wanted to do Joe Rogan's show. I think podcasting is a very powerful medium.
Cap. They avoided Joe Rogan like the plague. Joe Rogan extended an opportunity for both of them to come on the platform. Trump actually had a rally in Michigan, and Barron told him that he needed to do Joe Rogan. He wound up being super late to the rally in Michigan because he talked to the Joe Rogan for 3 hours. And counter, what they decided to do is they decided to go on Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe was facing a bunch of bullshit after he had reached Michelle. Oh, yes, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Oh, Michelle. No. Michelle. Hold on. Let me turn on Instagram. Make sure that the people hear me on Instagram, because I know that they keep saying that I keep going to the game with my stylist, but I love you, Michelle. So when Shannon Sharpe had got into some shit with that, and we should have already knew that the lawsuit was coming after that bullshit because he was just doing too much. They're anti, because Cat Williams' interview had bust out. That was busting. So Shannon Sharpe had to wave from the black podcasters' perspective and stuff like that. So he was hitting on all cylinders, right? And so because they didn't want to face no real, this is what was happening during that campaign, because I remember this, I covered everything every day. And I largely credit it with, my vigorousness to cover everything campaign related. That really probably gave me a big boost when it came to my subscribers and my growth and visibility and all of that. Michelle, whatever her name is, Kamala Harris, only wanted to do 20-minute interviews. Kamala Harris, whether she was on Fox News, she would not go to any opposing platforms, because anytime they would ask her something like, hey, you was the border czar, why wouldn't you cover what was happening at the border? Hey, you know what I'm saying? You said you put the greens in the tub. What the fuck is that shit? Anytime anybody questioned her about anything, her team would step in and say, hey, so she would arrive to these interviews, because Brett Bauer said it. She would arrive to the interviews, even with the big platforms like Fox News. She would arrive 8 minutes late, say you only got, whatever, 19 minutes to interview me, and then I'm up out of there. But Trump did a 3-fucking-hour interview with Joe Rogan. And I suspect that when Trump did that 3-hour interview with Joe Rogan, ain't no way in the world she can come in there for 20 minutes. Ain't no way in the world that she can come in there for 20 minutes, right? And so she wanted, her and her team and her, they all wanted to control the narrative. They did not want to be authentic. They did not want to let people in. And so that's why they did. And they have shit to do with Joe Rogan being this or being that or not being authentic or none of that. It was all Trump and JD Vance was on the ops head. They was on every platform. They would pull up to MSNBC. They pulled up to CNN. They pulled up to Joe Rogan. Trump and them, they was doing interviews, and JD Vance was knocking it out the fucking park every single day. You didn't even see them pull up to Fox News until, and when they finally started doing interviews with other people, it was both her and Tim Walz together. He had to handhold her. And that's when they started saying he got stolen valor and all of this other stuff.
For people to get information. And to your point, a lot of people, that is a main source of information. And it's important for us to support that.
Joe says you want him to come to you, which is very un-Joe-like in terms of he doesn't really travel. In hindsight,
see,
do you wish you'd gone and done the show for 3 hours at his studio? In hindsight,
really, it just would be what were we giving up? I wanted to do his show, and a lot of people advised me not to do his show because they assumed, as it turned out to be correct, that he was supporting Trump and that it would not be a productive piece.
That's cap. Joe had reserved his vote, and he said he wanted to talk to both candidates and be authentic. He grilled Trump, and they sat there for 3 hours, and it wasn't any kind of predisposition on what he could and couldn't ask. And now she talking about, it's what would we get out of it? What do you mean, what would you get out of it?
It's for me. But just like when I went on Fox News with Bret Baier, my perspective was they may have their bias, but there are people that listen who are open-minded, and I'm going to go there and give them a chance to get to know me and give me a chance to make my case to them. So that was my perspective on Joe Rogan, just like it was my perspective on Fox. There was a lot of games being played around the scheduling, and it didn't happen. I don't have anything against, certainly not against the people who turn on to Joe Rogan and would love.
Joe would have moved hell and high water to make sure she was accommodated if she had came to that studio. A lot of games being played with the schedule. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
To be able to talk with them in a direct manner, as I wanted to during the campaign.
Do you, in hindsight, wish you'd just put your foot down and said, I'm going to go do it?
I don't know if it would have made a difference.
So it was her choice.
But yeah, no, I wanted to do it. So let me just say that, right? So I wanted to do it, and it would have been great to do, and I think it would have been helpful to do.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's just, the issue, it was really about what's the trade-off in terms of votes and where I spend my time. Do I spend my time traveling for 5 hours and back versus being for that period of time in a swing state? And that was the trade-off.
I guess it goes to the point.
So it wasn't about I don't want to do Joe Rogan, or believe me, at that point in a campaign, it's not about, is somebody coming to me or me going to them? I could care less about that. Pride is not associated with it.
It is more about.
It is literally about return on investment.
Okay, and this goes to our point
time.
about efficiency earlier.
Yeah, exactly right.
So you telling me with Trump doing 100 million views on Joe Rogan and him having the biggest platform that you could have went on at the time, you're telling me that you would have rather did a 15, 20,000 person rally at some random bumblefuck place than reach 100 million people, literally almost a third of the United States of America. Instead, you would have rather just went to a little simple rally. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Ain't nobody this stupid. Ain't nobody gonna sit here. Man, y'all can't gaslight me, bro. Trying to plug up my Mac. You're not gonna gaslight me, bro. And you're not gonna gaslight me. Ain't no fucking way in the world. If I'm looking to become president of the United States of America, I'm gonna have a list of all of the biggest podcasts, and I'm gonna just work my way on down the list. I'm gonna work my way on down the list. Ain't nobody that crazy. If your campaign manager advised you to do anything different than that, that's insane.
There's only one candidate. So where am I spending my time to get the greatest return on the investment?
If I was in charge of your campaign, I would have 100% put you in that environment. And even when I look at the trade-off, in part because someone like me, and I consider myself to be like genuinely really objective.
Yeah.
And my friends know me as being extreme, not just objective on camera, but objective in my personal life. Yeah. I would have, when you see a certain environment present someone in a certain way, you really, like the thing that can burst that bubble is seeing that person go into that environment. And like when I saw you on Fox News, I watched that interview as well. Yeah. I actually think it strengthens your supporters, and actually those independents who are in that space too can get a feel for you. So I would have loved to see it. And I actually think, I hope in this next election cycle, when is it, 2028? I really would love to see both sides going to both sides. And I actually think that's happening now, going into those environments. I do also tend to think that Joe would have been fair.
Well, that's why I wanted to do it. I had to assume that was possible. And either way, he's very popular.
I would have loved to watch that interaction.
I regret that we didn't do it.
Yeah. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. And then I want to go into one more thing. Did you hear about Trump getting a crown? Yeah, over in Malaysia, I think. Rags from Texas says, tell Obama Trump says step on a crack, break your mama's back. Boy, that is just trash. The Obama Foundation has no concrete foundation. Thank you. I appreciate you, Rags from Texas. Chris Cunningham says he should have asked Trump to build him a museum. Brian, the filmmaker, says there's a guy in Cleveland who took out a loan to open up a restaurant. He decided to build it on his own. That was over 10 years ago, and it's still sitting there half done. I see the same thing happening with Obama. Curtis Taylor says, talk about the entitled Americans in Jamaica. Manny Plays PC says, she's lying, isn't she? I remember someone in an interview saying that from a very early age, she said she wanted to become president. A.R. Smitty says, is Jasmine Crockett in the Democratic bullpen for the president of the United States of America? I doubt it. Ray C says, got disconnected, but how about student loan relief that helped people that hurt the American taxpayers? And what it did is it placed an entitlement on people that didn't get it to feel like they should have got it and that they deserved it when they didn't. If you take out a student loan, you pay it back. You actually fuck the taxpayers, because it wasn't the government that gave you relief. It was the taxpayer. It was me. It was me that actually paid off your student loans. I think that if you got it, you should have paid it back. Now, if you include Obama, I can give you more. No, I'm including Joe Biden. That's what you said. I don't think that was a plus. I don't think that was a plus. Promising people that you was gonna forego their student loans if they voted for you, that's bullshit, bro. That's bullshit, because all of us had to pay off our student loans when we went to school. That's such bullshit. I hated that. Chris Cunningham says, I emailed you a Kamala video on dodging a question and a reporter called her out. Yeah, I seen that. Manny Plays PC says she's putting me to sleep. Facts. Safari Noble says, AD, my college professor back in 2006 told me and my buddy that Obama was going to be the next president. This was before the public ever knew about him. She said it like she already got the memo. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. A.R. Smitty says, why is she talking about cooking? We ain't forget about them greens, bitch. Executive Suite MLE says, Kamala only got 833 votes in the 2019 primary. TS Car Wash Detail Services, Bali is nice too. Olin Dresner says they thought her campaign didn't need the Rogan listener voters. I think she was scared of Joe Rogan. But she says in her book that she loses the male vote due to Myron, Fresh and Fit, and Andrew Tate. The California Dem playbook is real. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Anyways, I want to get into one more thing before we get up out of here.
Detroit electric vehicle plant.
The Detroit News says GM is downsizing to a single shift at the plant in response to the slowing U.S. electric vehicle market. And another 550 jobs are being cut at its battery cell plant in Warren, Ohio, with another 850 temporary layoffs at other plants. This comes after federal tax breaks on electric vehicle purchases ended in September.
Paramount is laying off about 2,000 workers, including some at CBS News. The company says the cuts are being made to address redundancies and align with new
What did I say about the redundancies and synergy?
priorities. CEO David Ellison is looking to reshape Paramount after Skydance Media's $8 billion merger. And the new editor-in-chief of CBS News, Barry Weiss, has said she wants to focus on, quote, news that reflects reality.
NVIDIA, now the most valuable publicly traded company. The chip maker becomes the first company to hit
Bag chasers, are y'all still investing? Are y'all reallocating profits and continuing the dollar cost average?
$1 trillion in market value. This follows recent deals with companies like OpenAI, Oracle, and a $500 billion supercomputer deal with the Department of Energy.
An internet pioneer is changing hands yet again. AOL, remember AOL? Just bought out by tech company Bending Spoons. The previous owner was private equity firm Apollo Global Management. AOL stopped its dial-up internet service last month, but it's still one of the most used email providers in the world. It also deals in internet privacy and protection software. The company is valued at over $1.5 billion.
Bullshit. Ain't no way in the world you're going to tell me that AOL is valued over $1.5 billion.
Tesla is phasing out the traditional radio. Hardware will be removed from the 2026 entry-level models. Thing of the past now. Customers will have to rely on streaming and paired smartphone audio. Reports say it makes Tesla the first mainstream car brand to cut out over-the-air radio entirely.
Well, that tells me that old technologies are completely going away. FM radio is done, man. FM radio is done. People like D.L. Hughley, they are going the way of the dinosaur, ladies and gentlemen. You still got your AOL email account? FM radio is now going to be removed from Tesla vehicles, and I suspect that there's going to be a group of people. Yeah, it's weird. You said who still uses the radio? It's tripped out because you know how you get into a rental car and then the radio just be playing or something like that? That's what I be thinking to myself, like, what? They still playing radio? And then they still be like, yeah, FM 90, 105, whatever, so on and so forth. I'm like, man, people still do radio. People still do radio. Like they have regular radio antennas. They still do radio. Streaming has already killed that. Radio is going to be a thing in the past. Some of y'all say, yeah, they still streaming online. Yeah, but who wants to go into those particular people? You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of these places is going to go the way of, it's going to go the way of newspapers. Do people still look at newspapers nowadays? I think it's going to go the way of newspapers. Here's a CEO of Cognizant. Cognizant CEO said that AI being used to replace humans are a mistake. I want to deep dive into that. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm.
CBC exclusive at Post 9 is Cognizant CEO Ravi Kumar. It's great to have you back. Welcome.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Leslie.
It's been so choppy in services, especially IT services. Are you turning a chapter here?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a great year so far. We increased our upper end of the guidance range for our revenue. We moved to the upper end on our margins. Our EPS growth has been 10 to 11%. So we're very, very excited about the transformation we have taken up in the company over the last 2 years. I've always said this, we are transitioning from a system integrator to an AI builder company. All the infrastructure spend which has happened on AI infrastructure, we think the value is going to drift to the front of that value chain. More businesses are going to adapt AI, and we see this in two swim lanes. The first swim lane is about software. I mean, traditionally, we wrote software, we implemented services around the microprocessor. Software development cycles are now assisted by.
I used to love reading the paper too. I used to get the Wall Street Journal when I would go into the plant. I would get the Wall Street Journal, and then I would get USA Today, and then I would get the Free Press or the Detroit News. And the reason that I got all three of those is because I would always read the business section, and then I would always read sports. Business, sports, and then anything Detroit, anything that was happening in popular culture. This was way back in the 2000s, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. I used to just be business friendly, business related. All I used to do was read books, study, listen to look at the Wall Street Journal. And then I would, obviously all of those mediums just kind of fell off. But that's what I used to do. I used to love reading the paper every single day. Every day I used to read the paper. It's crazy to think that everything has changed now. But there's people that still watch regular TV, but regular TV is dying also. So
AI. We are the only company in a peer group which talks about how much code is written by machines. As you do more for less, you actually get to do more because technology is elastic, software is elastic, more technology is spent. So that's one part of our value chain. Then there's a second swim lane which has kind of evolved over the last few quarters, which is about agentic AI. And applying AI on operations of enterprises, reinventing an enterprise, reinventing a business process, reinventing a workflow. And we're doing that with a combination of things. I mean, this is, remember, classical software did penetrate into enterprises a lot. You know, agentic capital is going to penetrate not just into enterprise software, but much, much beyond. And the opportunity of the labor pools around it, you can actually create digital labor. And when you do so, you are actually going to reimagine the business, reinvent the process, and agentic cycles are very, very complex. So the heavy lift needed for the raw power of enterprise AI to be production grade, we think we have this unique opportunity. You know, you're going to take portions of the deterministic logic written in SaaS software into the agentic layer.
Right.
You're going to create an interplay between human capital and digital labor or agentic capital. That complexity, and it's a contextual computing, which means you have to feed tribal knowledge, you have to feed the workflows, the data flows, the hustle of the company into the agents and layer the value. So if you take both the swim lanes, layer them up, we think we have a unique opportunity to make this a winning combination. We are on the winner's circle now on relative growth in comparison to our peers.
So basically what he's saying, all right, so let me break this down from a C student's perspective. What he's basically saying is that you can't use AI to replace human beings. You have to use AI in tandem with human beings so that you can scale, because AI alone, even with all of its leapfrogging technologies, if you're using, I'll give you an example, right? For all of my engineers out there, for all of my software engineers, I've actually been deep diving and been testing AI when it comes to coding and all of this stuff, right? It has a lot of flaws. It has a lot of issues. Is it a great tool? Absolutely, but it's only great in assisting you with what you already know. So the greatest developers are not ones that reject AI. And the companies that then try to leverage AI to replace developers are doing a disservice. The greatest combination is the merging of the two. So you have to have a fundamental knowledge to understand where the issues lie in it so you can leverage it and have the best outcome possible. So my point is that a company saying, oh man, we want to get rid of everybody and just use AI is a company that's going to make a huge mistake. But a company that says, hey, let me look at your resume, let me look at what you got, and have you been using it, and how are you using it effectively in order to create a better swim lane for you to push out better products, or to source what needs to be done, or quickly find the error. A lot of these people that are using AI, right, because I've been playing around with it a lot, they actually have a lot of problems and a lot of errors. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to get better, but it's supposed to be something that assists us to help us create the best products, not something that is used to replace. If you're using it to replace, then you'll never be able to compete on a high level. You'll never be able to compete on a high level. Because if you're using it in an agile environment, right? Agile versus waterfall. Waterfall environment says, okay, we got to build this application, or we got to build this thing, or we got to do this thing, and then we're going to release it and we're just going to let it go. An agile methodology is continuously improvement. So when you get your phone, right, and you get on here and you get an application, then that application is continuously updated with new features, new functions, new bug fixes, so on and so forth. So the project never really ends. It just continues to evolve and improve and have a better experience. It tend to be faster, new colors, new buttons, new functionality, new growth, new opportunity. And so an agile methodology allows for you to move faster, scale better, and push out a better product. It's not supposed to be so that you can do the same thing with less. It's supposed to be so you can be more efficient and be better with AI and assisting you, right? You should become better. You know, y'all see, this is the leadership, Anton, and leadership role and positions in corporate America starting to come out. This is coaching, Anton, that's coming out, that I used to talk to different people within the corporate organizations to help them understand why we needed to adopt certain technologies, why we needed to move more towards an agile methodology, depending on what division that we're talking about, and how we could implement not just this project, but we need to do a widespread evaluation of the whole organization to see how we can UX everything to make it more efficient and create a better environment for employees to do better work, because we need them to do better. We don't necessarily want to get rid of them. It's incumbent on us to find out exactly what is best for you so that I can help you be successful, not necessarily get rid of you. Your success may be in this area, so help me get the tools that I need to make you more successful. AI is supposed to assist you in that. It is not supposed to replace you. And there's a lot of leadership, or a lot of leaders within organizations that don't understand that. They just racing to use it and implement it, but they're not trying to understand how it impacts their business. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not supposed to think for you. It's supposed to assist you in what you already know. And this CEO from Cognizant, which is probably why it's reflected in a stock price year over year, is understanding it. He gets it. He really understands why. This is why people need to always figure out how they can implement certain things in their life. Technology is not supposed to be feared. When I see people say, oh man, it's going to replace all of us, that's because you don't know how to use it. It should be a revolution for you. I look at AI and I say, man, we can use it for this, and we can use it for this, and it streamlined our ability to do this. And I talk to your car, and man, your car, we figure it out all the time. Okay, well, listen, we're going to implement it on this. We want to pull back on this because this is important. This is not important. And this is how we want to push this out. And this is where the value add. And so use this, and use this technology for this. It's supposed to assist you in helping you become better and more efficient. It's not supposed to hinder you. But again, Technology a lot of times make people fearful. And so as a result, they just clam in and hold on instead of embracing and stepping out. Did we go too far? Did we not keep it surface level enough? Maybe we're a little bit too deep. All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it in the Patreon, where that way we don't have to censor ourselves. We don't have to throttle ourselves. We could just get it popping. Okay. All right. Join the Patreon tomorrow. Best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Hold off today, join tomorrow. And we're gonna get it popping. All right. I got your bubbles going. Yeah, we can meet them at all levels, depending on where they at. TS Car Wash and Detail Services. Give me some game on being successful. I just told you something. PJ says she is such a liar. I remember when she ran from that Brett interview. Yep, she sure did. And AD, are you going to read her book? Probably. Why wouldn't I read everybody's book? I'm objective. I wouldn't be a great content creator if I didn't read everybody's book. Tech Coach Ralph says I've been able to get 4 to 5 applications built in half the time it would have taken me to just get one application out and use it to train others in the tech space. See, you understand, you get it. You understand and you get it. All right, y'all. So listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We got after hours tonight. I'm gonna be in here grinding and getting it all day. And I'm moving today, so I got to get that done. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. It's been a great week. Let me go ahead and get this one out of there. We're going to fix that. All right. I'm going to holler at y'all later. See y'all tonight, man.